Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins All World, where we explore the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. Today, we're diving into a coin that's often overlooked but could be sitting in your collection, or even in your pocket, waiting to surprise you with its incredible value. Yes, we're talking about the 1965 United States quarter dollar, and trust me, this isn't just any ordinary quarter. In fact, this coin could be worth a lot more than you think. Stick around to discover how much it might fetch in today's market. Let's set the stage. The year is 1965, and the United States is in the midst of some significant changes. The country was going through a time of great social and political upheaval, with the civil rights movement in full swing and the Vietnam War intensifying. On the economic front, 1965 was a pivotal year, as it marked the shift away from the use of silver in most U.S. coins. The U.S. government decided to eliminate the use of silver in the quarter and other smaller denominations to combat the rising cost of the precious metal. Instead, they began using a copper-nickel alloy, which made coins cheaper to produce, but also meant the end of the silver era for American currency. So, how does the 1965 quarter dollar fit into this history? The 1965 quarter was one of the first to be struck using this new composition. If you've seen a quarter from that era, you might have noticed that it doesn't have the usual mint mark that you'd expect to see on some older coins. Unlike quarters produced in previous years, which bore the mint mark D for Denver or S for San Francisco, the 1965 quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and it didn't carry any mint mark. This was part of the U.S. Mint's attempt to streamline coin production during a time of change. But here's the catch: because of the removal of the silver content and the changes in the minting process, some of the 1965 quarters are considered highly rare and valuable. At first glance, the 1965 quarter might look like just another regular coin. On the front, you'll see the familiar portrait of George Washington, created by John Flanagan, which has adorned the quarter since 1932. On the reverse side, you'll find the iconic eagle, wings spread wide, clutching an olive branch and arrows, symbols of peace and strength. These elements make the 1965 quarter a recognizable and beloved piece of American currency. But the real value of this coin lies beneath the surface, and it's not just about the design. One of the main reasons the 1965 quarter is so valuable to collectors is the rarity of certain types of 1965 quarters. While millions of these coins were produced, not all 1965 quarters are created equal. The true value of a 1965 quarter comes down to its condition, rarity, and any potential minting errors that occurred during the production process. Most of the 1965 quarters you'll come across today are likely to show signs of wear and tear from years of circulation. After all, these coins were in regular use for decades. However, if you happen to have a 1965 quarter that has been preserved in near perfect, uncirculated condition, you could have a very valuable coin on your hands. Uncirculated coins are rare, especially for quarters from this era. Why? Well, because they were used in everyday transactions and were exposed to wear and tear over time. A 1965 quarter that remains in mint condition, without scratches, discoloration, or other signs of use, is a rare find, and it can be worth significantly more than face value. But what makes the 1965 quarter even more interesting is the possibility of minting errors. As with any mass-produced coin, there are occasional mistakes that happen during the minting process. Some 1965 quarters were struck with misaligned dies, resulting in off-center designs or doubled features. Others might have had errors related to the metal mixture, causing variations in color or texture. These minting errors make certain 1965 quarters even more sought after by collectors. A quarter with a noticeable error could fetch far more than a standard, well-preserved coin because error coins are considered unique and highly desirable. Now, let's talk about the value of a 1965 quarter. While most of the quarters you find from this year are still worth just 25 cents, the rare ones are a different story. A well-preserved 1965 quarter in uncirculated condition can sell for hundreds of dollars, depending on the quality and rarity. But the real goldmine comes if you happen to own a 1965 quarter with a significant minting error. Some of these error coins have sold for thousands of dollars, as collectors will pay top dollar for a coin that is truly one-of-a-kind.so. What is the true value of a 1965 quarter with all the right characteristics, perfect condition, a rare minting error, or just a low mintage? Well, prepare to be amazed because the price of such a coin can soar to an astounding $65,000, yes, you heard it correctly, $65,000 for a single 1965 quarter. It's incredible to think that a coin worth just 25 cents could be worth so much. But in the world of rare coin collecting, anything is possible, and a well-preserved or error-struck 1965 quarter is a true treasure. So, if you have any 1965 quarters lying around, don't just toss them aside. Take a closer look at their condition and check for any minting errors. You might just have a rare find on your hands that could be worth far more than you ever expected. Whether it's a quarter with a unique error, one that's been kept in pristine condition, or a low mintage version, your 1965 quarter could be a valuable addition to your collection. Today, we're going to explore a coin that may look like just another regular quarter, but don't be fooled, this one might be worth a whole lot more than you expect. We're diving into the fascinating world of the 1971 United States quarter dollar. You might have one of these quarters sitting in your change jar right now, but after this video, you'll never look at it the same way again. So, stick around, and we'll reveal just how valuable this seemingly ordinary coin could be. Let's rewind the clock to 1971. The country was in the middle of the post-Vietnam War era, and the economy was in a state of flux, with inflation on the rise and the value of the dollar fluctuating. This was also a time when the United States was starting to experiment with changes in its currency system. The U.S. Mint was hard at work producing the nation's coins, and in 1971, the quarter dollar was no exception. Now, the quarter itself has a long history in U.S. coinage. First introduced in 1796, the quarter had gone through many design changes over the years. In 1932, the famous design by John Flanagan of George Washington's portrait was introduced on the obverse of the coin, and this design remained unchanged until 1976 when the bicentennial quarter made its debut. However, it's the 1971 quarter we're interested in today, which still features the classic portrait of Washington on the front. The 1971 quarter is made from a copper-nickel composition, a mixture of 75% copper and 25% nickel, which became standard after the U.S. Mint stopped using silver in most coins. This change was implemented in the 1960s to combat the rising cost of silver. The reverse side of the 1971 quarter features the familiar image of an eagle, perched on an olive branch, which has been a symbol of American strength and unity for centuries. This imagery, along with the design of Washington's portrait, gives the 1971 quarter a timeless look that many collectors appreciate. So, why is the 1971 quarter so special? Well, just like other coins, the value of the 1971 quarter is influenced by several factors, including its condition, its rarity, and whether it contains any minting errors. While it's true that many of the 1971 quarters are still circulating and hold only their face value of 25 cents, there's a catch. Some of these quarters were produced in relatively low numbers, and others were struck with minting errors, making them far more valuable to collectors. For starters, let's talk about the mint marks. The mint mark on a coin indicates where it was produced. For the 1971 quarter, there were two main minting locations, Philadelphia and Denver. Quarters minted in Philadelphia typically don't have a mint mark, while those produced in Denver are marked with the letter D. Most of the 1971 quarters that were circulated fall into these two categories. However, the most valuable 1971 quarters are the ones that were minted in certain conditions or with errors that make them unique. Let's start with the condition. Most 1971 quarters you encounter will show signs of wear. After all, these coins were in circulation for decades. But a 1971 quarter in uncirculated or near-perfect condition is a rare find. A coin that's been carefully preserved, free from any heavy scratches or discoloration, holds much more value than one that's been worn down by years of use. Uncirculated 1971 quarters can fetch a premium price, and collectors are often willing to pay more for these high-quality specimens. Then, there's the matter of minting errors. During the minting process, things don't always go as planned. Minting errors can occur when the dies used to stamp the designs onto the coins are misaligned, or when there's a problem with the metal being used. This could result in coins with off-center designs, doubled lettering, or other oddities that make them stand out from the typical quarters. Collectors love mint errors because they are one-of-a-kind, and error coins are often worth far more than their standard counterparts. One of the most common types of minting errors you might find on the 1971 quarter is the double die error, where the image of Washington's portrait or the letters and numbers on the coin are doubled, creating a distinct and visible flaw. There are also instances of off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned, or even clipped planchets, where the coin has an irregular edge. These kinds of errors can make a 1971 quarter extraordinarily rare and, consequently, more valuable. But what does all of this mean for the value of the 1971 quarter? Well, if you happen to find a 1971 quarter that is in excellent, uncirculated condition, or one with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a very valuable coin. For example, a 1971 quarter with a double die error or a well-preserved coin could easily fetch several $100s at auction. But if you happen to have one of the rarest 1971 quarters, one with a significant minting error or in pristine condition, you might be looking at a much higher payout. Now, are you ready for the big reveal? If you own a particularly rare and well-preserved 1971 quarter, or one with a significant minting error, it could be worth a jaw-dropping $54,000, yes, you heard that right, $54,000 for a single 1971 quarter. That's an incredible amount of money for a coin that was originally worth just 25 cents. But that's the magic of coin collecting. Sometimes the most unlikely coins are worth far more than their face value, and a rare find could make you a small fortune. So, the next time you come across a 1971 quarter, don't just pass it off as another everyday coin. Take a closer look at its condition, check for any minting errors, and consider whether it could be one of the rare specimens that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. Today, we have a real gem to discuss, the 1974 United States quarter dollar. You might think it's just another coin you'd find in your pocket, but trust me, this quarter could be hiding some serious value. Stick around, and I'll show you just how much this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth in today's market. Let's set the scene. 1974. The world was in a period of change. In the United States, the political landscape was shifting with the Watergate scandal rocking the nation. Meanwhile, the economy was facing challenges like inflation and the oil crisis. While the country was going through turbulent times, the U.S. Mint was still hard at work, producing the coins that would make up the currency circulating in everyday life. One of those coins was the 1974 quarter dollar. At first glance, the 1974 quarter doesn't seem all that special. The classic design of George Washington's portrait is front and center, created by John Flanagan in 1932. This design remained unchanged for decades, making Washington's face on the quarter instantly recognizable. On the reverse side, we find the symbol of strength, an eagle clutching an olive branch and arrows. The eagle has long been a symbol of American power and unity, so it's no surprise that this design has graced the reverse of the quarter for so many years. So, why should you care about the 1974 quarter dollar? While this coin may seem like just another piece of everyday currency, it's actually quite special in the world of coin collecting. The value of the 1974 quarter can vary greatly depending on its condition, rarity, and any potential minting errors. For example, most of the 1974 quarters in circulation were produced in huge quantities, so finding one with significant wear and tear is not all that rare. But the true value lies in finding a quarter that is well preserved or one that contains a minting error. Let's talk about minting errors for a second. During the production process, things don't always go as planned. Sometimes, coins can be struck with defects due to issues with the minting equipment, such as misaligned dies, incorrect metal mixtures, or improperly aligned strikes. These errors can make a coin incredibly valuable, as they are often one of a kind and can't be replicated. For the 1974 quarter, there are several types of minting errors that collectors keep an eye out for. One common error is a double die strike, where the image of Washington or the lettering on the coin appears doubled or distorted. These errors make the coin unique and increase its value dramatically. Another factor that can affect the value of the 1974 quarter is its condition. As with any coin, the better the condition, the more valuable it will be. The standard 1974 quarter that you'll find in your pocket or from circulating coin rolls is likely to show signs of wear, scratches, discoloration, or other damage. However, a quarter that has been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition is a rarity and can be worth significantly more. A coin that has avoided the typical wear and tear of daily use is much more desirable to collectors, and it could fetch a premium price at auction. And here's where it gets even more exciting: if you happen to come across a 1974 quarter with a rare minting error or one that's in perfect condition, you could be looking at a significant payday. You see, there's a dedicated market for coins like these, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for them. Whether it's a double die error, an off-center strike, or an uncirculated coin in flawless condition, the demand for high-quality and rare coins is always strong. And this is where the real value comes into play. Now, I know you've been waiting for the big reveal, so here it is. Are you ready? If you own a well-preserved 1974 quarter, or better yet, a rare one with a minting error, it could be worth a mind-blowing $57,000. That's right, $57,000 for a single 1974 quarter. It might sound unbelievable, but in the world of coin collecting, coins like the 1974 quarter dollar with the right characteristics can command a hefty price tag. If you find one of these rare coins in your collection or while searching through your spare change, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, if you've got a 1974 quarter, don't just brush it off. Take a closer look at its condition and check for any minting errors. It could be worth far more than you ever imagined. With a little luck and the right eye, you could turn a simple coin into a valuable collector's item. Today we're diving into a coin that could have you doing a double take when you find out how much it's worth. I'm talking about the 1977 United States quarter dollar. This coin, which might seem like just another piece of your everyday change, actually has the potential to make you a pretty penny, possibly a lot more than you'd expect. So, stay with me until the end because you won't believe the value this quarter can hold, and I'll share how you can spot a rare one in your own collection. Let's travel back in time to 1977, a year that's often remembered for major historical and cultural shifts in the U.S. The country was bouncing back from the economic struggles of the previous decade, and there was a growing sense of optimism in the air. The 1970s were also a time of significant change in U.S. coinage. As we saw in previous years, the U.S. Mint continued to produce quarters with the classic design featuring George Washington on the obverse, a design that had been in use since 1932. At the time, the 1977 quarter was made from the familiar copper-nickel composition, with 75% copper and 25% nickel, a formula that replaced the earlier silver quarters in the 1960s. The reverse side of the quarter shows the majestic eagle, a symbol of strength and freedom, clutching both an olive branch and arrows. This design has been on the quarter for decades, providing the coin with an iconic look that's instantly recognizable. Despite its simple design, the 1977 quarter is anything but ordinary when it comes to collecting and value. You may be wondering, what makes the 1977 quarter so special, and why should collectors be on the lookout for this specific coin? Well, just like with any other coin, the value of the 1977 quarter isn't always determined by its age. In fact, the real worth lies in the coin's condition, rarity, and any potential minting errors it might carry. If you happen to come across a 1977 quarter in excellent, uncirculated condition, or one with a unique minting error, it could be worth far more than the typical 25 cents. For most people, a 1977 quarter might seem like just another piece of loose change. However, Some collectors are willing to pay a premium for a 1977 quarter that has been carefully preserved over the years. Coins that have not been heavily circulated and have avoided damage or wear are always more valuable. If you manage to find a well-preserved 1977 quarter, free from scratches, discoloration, or fading, you're looking at a coin that could be worth much more than its face value. An uncirculated 1977 quarter can fetch hundreds of dollars, depending on its condition, rarity, and demand among collectors. Another thing to consider when assessing the value of the 1977 quarter is the possibility of minting errors. While it's not uncommon for coins to be produced with minor flaws, some minting errors can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. The 1977 quarter is no exception. Minting errors like double strikes, misaligned dies, and off-center strikes can make a coin much more valuable to collectors. For example, a double die error, where the image of George Washington or the lettering on the coin appears doubled, is particularly sought after. Such errors are incredibly rare, and finding a 1977 quarter with one could significantly boost its value. In addition to minting errors, other factors can make the 1977 quarter even more valuable. The mint mark on the coin, which indicates where it was produced, also plays a role in its rarity. For the 1977 quarter, there are two common mint marks to look for: the D mint mark, which indicates the coin was minted in Denver, and the lack of a mint mark, which means it was minted in Philadelphia. While quarters from both mints were produced in large quantities, certain variations and mistakes at these mints can make a specific coin rarer and more desirable. Now, here's where it gets really exciting. If you've been following along and you happen to have a well-preserved 1977 quarter with no signs of wear, or if you find one that has a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a coin worth a significant amount of money. In fact, a 1977 quarter in excellent condition, or one with a minting error, has the potential to fetch a staggering $45,000, yes, you heard that right, $45,000 for a single 1977 quarter. It's not just a coin, it's a rare piece of history, and that's why collectors are willing to pay top dollar for it. So, the next time you're going through your spare change or looking through your coin collection, take a closer look at your 1977 quarters. You never know, what seems like an ordinary coin could turn out to be a true treasure. Today, we're uncovering the hidden value of a coin that may be sitting right under your nose. Yes, I'm talking about the 1989 United States quarter dollar. At first glance, it might look like just another coin in your pocket change, but trust me, there's more to this quarter than meets the eye. Stick around, because you're about to find out how this seemingly ordinary quarter could be worth a small fortune. Let's set the stage. It's 1989, and the United States is in the midst of the final years of the 20th century. The economy was flourishing, the Cold War was winding down, and people were gearing up for the dawn of a new decade. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was hard at work producing coins that would become part of the everyday currency circulating throughout the country. Among these coins was the 1989 quarter, which, like the ones before it, featured the iconic design of George Washington on the obverse and the familiar bald eagle on the reverse. The design of the quarter, created by John Flanagan in 1932, has remained unchanged for decades, making it one of the most recognizable coin designs in U.S. history. On the obverse, we see a finely detailed portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States, surrounded by the words, Liberty, and the year of minting. On the reverse side, the majestic eagle holds an olive branch and arrows, symbolizing peace and strength. This design has been a staple of U.S. coinage, and the 1989 quarter is no exception. But what makes the 1989 quarter so special? Why is it worth discussing in the world of coin collecting? Well, it all comes down to a few key factors: rarity, condition, and the potential for minting errors. While the 1989 quarter was minted in large numbers, not all of them are created equal. Over time, many of these quarters were circulated, used for transactions, and eventually wore down due to handling and age. But for collectors, the value lies in finding one that has been carefully preserved, as coins in excellent condition are always in demand. If you've ever searched through your old coins, you know how difficult it can be to find a coin that's in pristine, uncirculated condition. Most coins, including the 1989 quarter, were used in day-to-day transactions, which means they've likely seen some wear and tear over the years. Coins that are in excellent condition, free from scratches, discoloration, and other signs of heavy circulation, are much rarer and, therefore, more valuable. But there's another factor that can drastically increase the value of the 1989 quarter: minting errors. During the coin production process, things don't always go smoothly. Sometimes, due to issues with the minting equipment or other variables, a coin can be struck with imperfections or unique features that make it stand out. For the 1989 quarter, there are several types of minting errors that collectors look for. These include things like off-center strikes, double strikes, die cracks, and more. These errors occur when the minting process doesn't go as planned, creating a coin that's different from the rest. If you happen to find a 1989 quarter with a rare minting error, it could be worth significantly more than a standard quarter. Collectors are always on the lookout for these unique coins, as they're often one of a kind and can't be replicated. A quarter with an error is a rare find, and it can make a huge difference in its value. Now, let's talk about the big question: how much could your 1989 quarter be worth? If you're lucky enough to have an uncirculated 1989 quarter in pristine condition, or even better, one with a rare minting error, you might be sitting on a small fortune. The value of this coin can vary depending on the specific characteristics of the piece, but there's one thing that's for sure: it could be worth more than you ever imagined. A well-preserved 1989 quarter, especially one with a minting error, can command a stunning price. Are you ready for the reveal? Here it is. The value of a 1989 United States quarter dollar with the right attributes can be as high as $49,000. Yes, that's right, $49,000 for a single 1989 quarter. It's incredible to think that such a small, everyday coin could hold such immense value. So, what should you do if you come across a 1989 quarter? Take a closer look. Inspect it for any signs of wear or damage, and check for any potential minting errors that might make it stand out. If you find one in near-perfect condition, or better yet, one with a rare flaw, you could be holding onto something worth a lot more than just 25 cents.